Welcome back to the Life of Buddha series. In episode 13, we heard about Siddhārtha's ascetic journey after leaving his teachers. He decided to practice extreme asceticism, mortifying his body and fasting to the point of almost dying. However, he realized that this method did not lead to enlightenment. One day, Siddhārtha heard advice from a musician about adjusting the strings so that they were neither too loose nor too tight. He realized that the middle way was the key. Siddhārtha decided to give up his ascetic life, bathed and wore new clothes. A little girl named Punna saved him from starvation by giving him a bowl of milk porridge. Thanks to this, he gradually regained his health. Eventually, Siddhārtha left the cave and chose to live under a tree by the river, determined to follow the middle path in search of enlightenment. The Life of the Buddha, Episode 14, Punna Milk Porridge and the Middle Path. That night, Siddhārtha Gautama had a good sleep, and in the morning, he felt abundant vitality flowing through his body. The morning sun was golden and clear, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. With a cheerful spirit, he paced back and forth along the riverbank. In the afternoon, little Punna came back with milk, ghee, and cakes. "Are you going to worship the gods again?" "Yes." Then the little girl said, "When my grandmother was a girl, she saw this big and majestic asatha tree, thinking that there must be a god, so she often came here to pray. Please give me a husband of the same bloodline who is both rich and handsome, then give me a handsome, cute, easy to teach, easy to treat baby boy. I will thank the god with the most generous rice, milk, cakes, and fruits." And then, her old wish has now come true. Siddhārtha Gautama sat down to the girl's level and smiled. Little Punna continued evenly, "This sacred asatha tree has given my mistress a husband of her choice and a beautiful baby boy, like a child of the gods. On the full moon day of Visakha, my mistress will come here to pay her respects. 3 days before, I will come here to make the secondary offerings." "Oh, I see. Venerable monk, do you know that in order to prepare this respectful and reverent offering on this full moon day, my grandmother has put in a lot of effort?" "Yes, you tell, I listen. My mistress is very rich. My master is also very kind." He smiled kindly when he saw his mistress preparing milk to offer to the gods. She raised dozens of the tallest and healthiest dairy cows. She used the milk from these dozens of cows to feed 8 fat dairy cows. She used the milk from these 8 fat dairy cows to feed only 2 young dairy cows. And the milk from these 2 cows was reserved only for offering to the gods. The milk that the monk used yesterday was that wonderful milk. Hearing this, Siddhārtha Gautama was no longer surprised. Yesterday's milk was indeed medicine, a real rejuvenating tonic. Siddhārtha Gautama smiled and said, "It is not only a tonic, it is a panacea." "Yes," the little girl nodded. "My mistress also mixed in many precious medicines." Little Punna continued, "On the main holiday, my mistress will use that milk as water to cook a special meal, and even the rice used to cook the meal is not ordinary rice. Only millionaires can have that." Little Punna smiled carefreely. He felt he respected this kind monk. That morning, little Punna had broken a stick into a broom and swept everything clean from inside to outside, from the crevices of rocks, every hole in the tree roots, all the way to the riverbank. Then, after several days of nourishment, Siddhārtha Gautama regained his skin and flesh. The 32 noble features and 80 beautiful features gradually appeared. Meanwhile, the 5 fellow monks quietly left. They were very disappointed to see Siddhārtha Gautama eating his fill and even chatting happily with a little girl. "He has abandoned the supreme path," Kondanya sadly said to his friends. "We have no more hope or confidence in him. Our Siddhārtha Gautama has returned to a life of indulgence, nourishing his body in vulgar ways. Let us go." Realizing their misunderstanding, Siddhārtha Gautama was not in a hurry to correct them. During these days, he was undergoing an important transformation in his perception. Something was happening inside him. Siddhārtha Gautama was gradually forming a very new path of practice. He was abandoning asceticism, which meant abandoning the traditional path, and he would rely on the levels of meditation with form, where there is joy, purity, maturity, and softness of the mind, relying on them to begin to observe the process, the operation of life. And what is life? Life is what is happening, the relationship between the whole person, this body and mind, and the outside world. Suffering, sorrow, sadness, greed, and anger all arise from there, so our practice must also be observed from there. On the 14th night of the 4th lunar month, Vaisakha, under the majestic Asatha tree, Siddhārtha resided in the concentration of form, cultivating rapture. Late at night, in the 2nd watch, he lay down to rest. In the middle of the 3rd watch, he had a dream. Siddhārtha Gautama saw himself lying on the ground, his knees on the Himalayan peak, his left hand placed across the Eastern Ocean, his right hand placed across the Western Ocean, his legs stretched out, resting over the Jambudvipa continent, hanging down to the Southern Ocean. Siddhārtha Gautama saw a grass called Tirya growing from his navel and growing. It gradually grew bigger and taller, a cubit, a span, a yojana to 100 yojanas, then filled the entire space, spreading its 8 branches in 8 directions, green and cool. Siddhārtha Gautama saw a swarm of maggots with black heads and white bodies, crawling from head to toe, reaching the knees, and then completely covering the shins. Siddhārtha Gautama saw 4 kinds of birds of 4 colors, blue, red, yellow, and black, flying from 4 directions and landing at his feet. Suddenly, they all turned white. Siddhārtha Gautama saw himself walking back and forth, up and down on a pile of excrement as high as a mountain, but his feet were not stained with any dirt, not contaminated with any filth. When the morning star rose, Siddhārtha Gautama woke up. The dream was still fresh. He immediately guessed. The first sign, I will become a fully enlightened one, a Buddha on this earth. Second sign, there is a middle way teaching, because the tree grows right in the middle of the navel, with 8 branches, to teach gods and humans the noble eightfold path. Third sign, the congregation of lay people, black hair, white robes, will come to take refuge, rely on my feet to practice. The fourth sign, people of faith from all 4 castes will come to leave home and practice. Then all 4 castes will be dissolved and purified in the ocean of Dharma, white, ending discrimination. The fifth sign, many people come to give alms and make offerings, but when receiving the 4 requisites, I will not be infatuated or attached to them. After explaining the 5 signs, Siddhārtha Gautama felt joyful and happy. After finishing his personal hygiene, he walked around for a while and then went down to the river to bathe. The cool morning water, Siddhārtha Gautama received from his skin, from his pores, that pleasant feeling. His ears heard the rustling sound of each wave of water. His nose smelled the scent of moss, of the wild nature. The 5 senses and perception had become refined. It was impossible to leave the world of phenomena, of life, but had to listen, feel phenomena of life completely, deeply. From that foundation, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and perceptions must also be listened to truthfully. Like this river, the successive drops of water flow like that. So do our feelings, perceptions, mental formations, and perceptions. While meditating under the tree, Siddhārtha Gautama maintained and increased his concentration and awareness to listen to his entire body, mind, and their objects. All flowed, gathered, and dispersed, came and went continuously, without interruption. Not a single feeling, perception, mental formation, or consciousness had any real nature, no self-nature. What the Vedas called the small self, Atman, Atta, the eternal soul identical with the great universal self, Mahatman, suddenly dissolved like a water bubble. All of them were non-self, anatta. This clear realization, through self-contemplation, gave Siddhārtha Gautama an unprecedented joy. When Sujata and Putna brought their offerings to the tree, they saw a radiant deity meditating in a state of calm. Even Putna felt something was different. This was the emaciated monk who had been starving to death a few days ago, but he seemed to have been transformed into a different person. There was a deity. Only a deity could have such a beauty and radiance. Sujata asked Putna to arrange offerings on a golden tray of milk rice and other cakes and fruits, kneel down, place them on her head, and respectfully say, "Dear sir, dear deity, I am Sujat. You have followed my wish, given me a handsome, wealthy, and kind husband, and also given me a baby boy with the appearance and looks of a little angel. So I am completely satisfied. Today, I come here to thank you, hoping you will witness my sincerity." Siddhārtha Gautama left meditation, smiled, and said, "I am just a monk seeking the truth, not a god." Little Putna knows. Little Putna, who was still kneeling beside her master, now raised her head. "No, today the monk is truly a god. My mistress and I both see it clearly." Sujata was extremely grateful and moved, thinking to herself, "The gods have responded to my sincerity and have incarnated themselves in this noble and elegant monk." Siddhārtha Gautama thought to himself, "Everything has a cause and condition. I will accept it for her benefit and also for the benefit of the great transformation that is happening within me." When Sujata and the little girl Puntna had offered the entire golden tray for the ceremony and left, Siddhārtha Gautama stood in contemplation, contemplating for a moment. Then slowly, step by step, went to the riverbank. Choosing a patch of clean grass, Siddhārtha sat cross-legged, rolled the milk rice into 49 balls the size of palm fruits. Mindful and alert, Siddhārtha made a vow and ate all 49 balls of rice. Holding the golden tray standing up, Siddhārtha made a vow. "If under that asata tree I attain the fruit of Buddhahood, then may this golden tray float upstream. If I cannot attain Buddhahood, then this golden tray will float downstream." Having finished his prayer, Siddhārtha Gautama threw the golden tray into the middle of the river. Strangely enough, the golden tray floated upstream like a piece of ice, about 80 cubits long, then sank. At that time, nothing happened in the world, but something strange happened in the underwater palace. Originally, under the palace of the Dragon King, there were 3 golden trays of 3 past Buddhas, namely Kakusanda Buddha, Konagamana Buddha, and Kassapa Buddha. When Siddhārtha Gautama's golden tray sank and floated towards the underwater palace, it hit the 3 previous golden trays, and a ringing sound was heard. The Dragon King Kawanaga was sleeping at that time, and hearing the sound of the golden trays hitting each other, he woke up, smiled, and said, "Wow, just yesterday a Buddha appeared. Today another Buddha is born." Siddhārtha Gautama knew that he would achieve his wish. He was joyful and relaxed, and he also knew clearly that his transformation, his new perspective on practice, was correct and right. Walking towards the asata tree, Siddhārtha Gautama was very confident when he saw that he was fully prepared for a difficult attack without fear of making any more mistakes. Imitating the little girl Puntna, Siddhārtha Gautama went to pick leaves to sweep, and then took another handful of leaves and arranged them on top of each other to make a seat. While he was busy with his work, a cowherd boy carrying a large bundle of grass passed by. He stopped, looked curiously for a moment, and then said, "Monk, those leaves cannot be used as a seat. They will be bruised and rotten in a few days. It must be this grass. This kusa grass will dry and give off a pleasant smell if left for a long time. I give this to you, monk." Having said this, the cowherd boy put down the bundle of grass. It consisted of 8 small bundles of equal length and width, just enough to fit a seat. In a moment, the cowherd boy had finished it, and it looked very beautiful. Siddhārtha Gautama spoke sympathetically. "Thank you so much. No problem. What's your name? Do you live far from here?" "Yes, my name is Sothia. I belong to the Sudra caste and live nearby." Sothia gave me this bundle of precious grass. What should I take home? "No, it's okay. I'll get another one. There's only one lame cow." Although it is just an ordinary grass cushion used as a seat, in the eyes of the karma of non-humans, devas, and demons, it is a precious cushion called Ratana Palanka, 14 cubits high, elaborately carved all around, and studded with 7 treasures, the majestic merits of his parami accumulated over countless lifetimes. As soon as Sothia left, Siddhārtha Gautama sat on the grass mat, feeling soft and cool. He turned his face to the east, feeling his energy and strength in harmony with the energy and strength of the universe. All his cells and blood seemed to be energized. Calming his mind and regulating his breathing, Siddhārtha Gautama made a great vow. "Even if my blood dries up, even if only tendons, bones, and skin remain, I will never leave this grass mattress until I attain Buddhahood." As soon as Siddhārtha Gautama made his vow, the space seemed to shake and the earth shook violently. The ordinary grass mat had now transformed into a victorious cushion, Aparaja Panlanka, standing tall and motionless, as if challenging the darkness of ignorance and delusion. Meanwhile, the king of the gods Saka had to immediately leave his throne and order the Deva Pinchasika to bring the Beouf down to the human world to play music as an offering. The king of the gods Suyama from the Yama realm and the king of the gods Santusita from the Tusita realm hurriedly flew down, holding fans, and stood on either side. The Brahma god Sahampati, his friend since the time of the Buddha Kassapa, held a white parasol, standing solemnly and motionless to shade Siddhārtha Gautama. Meanwhile, the Dragon King Kainanaga led a whole group of beautiful women, joyfully singing a song never heard before. O excellent son of all the world, O king, both strong and wise, the 5 desires of earthly life can't bind you with their ties. O bodhisattva, none compare with will so firm and bright, you conquer all, more strong than steeds and elephants in flight. No man before has walked this path, to search with heart so true, exploring all the depths of life, its value to pursue. The greatest one to sacrifice, ascetic through and through, you are a flame of brilliant light, both sun and moon in view. You'll find the way to immortality, a cure for every pain, and save the countless lives that yearn for wisdom's shining gain. Oh, let your light of freedom spread, to guide all beings' sight, and in the darkest dreams of life, bring forth the Dharma's light. 1,000 worlds will dance with joy, as wisdom's light appears, and millions yearn for Dharma's gold to calm their endless fears. As soon as the dragon girl's singing ended, in the Vasavati heaven, the demon king was terrified, and his hair stood on end. This was truly an ominous sign, that Siddhārtha Gautama was about to step out of my power. He was trying to use that small light to challenge me, trying to pierce the deep darkness that I had spread over the world since time immemorial. The devil thought to himself, the ultimate gain cannot entice him. He does not care about the holy wheel-turning king. He considers fire sacrifices to be superstitious. He has also abandoned the ultimate austerity. Now Siddhārtha Gautama is sitting in meditation on that precious cushion and making a great vow of non-retreat. He really wants to escape from my power. So today, I must use my supreme power, my supreme strength to seize the cushion, or push him off the cushion. Then that great vow will not be fulfilled. Then, the evil one mobilized all the heavenly soldiers and generals, equipped with all kinds of strangely shaped weapons, with the most terrifying features, and noisily left at the Hoatutai heaven, heading straight to the mortal world, down to the Uruvela forest. The evil one, riding the elephant Girmekala, transformed into 1,000 arms, all holding weapons, with a fierce face, along with 10 armies, surrounded the Asatha tree for 12 yojanas, above the dense space of 9 yojanas. They roared loudly, shaking all the worlds. The 10 weapons of the 10 armies of Mara symbolize the following 10 types of defilements: lust, dissatisfaction, hunger and thirst, papas, craving, sloth and torpor, thina, midda, fear, baya, doubt, vichikicha, slander, stubbornness, kukthamba, gain, praise, honor, fame, labha, siloka, sakara, yasa, self-praise and joy for others, atukamsanaparavambana. Brahma, the dragon king, the heavenly kings, Saka, Suyama, and Santusita were standing around the cushion. They saw the evil demon with his heavenly soldiers, generals, and weapons of strange shapes, filled with murderous intent, and quickly conferred with each other. Both internal and external demons are attacking Siddhārtha Gautama. What should we do? It is natural for the great to fight alone. Let us go. So they returned to their residence. Meanwhile, the evil one told his subordinates, the power of Siddhārtha Gautama is extraordinary. There is no one in the world who can compare with him. You should not underestimate him. So do not foolishly fight head-on. You must attack by surprise or from behind. Siddhārtha Gautama thought, the armies of Mara, the king of defilements, will attack me. They will attack me from all sides with extremely powerful weapons. Here I have no parents, friends, or relatives. However, the Mara troops do not know that I am not alone in this battle. I already have the 30 parami practices. They will be my trusted subordinates, whom I have carefully nurtured over countless lives. They are my invincible, skilled army. They will protect me safely. They will instantly neutralize the Mara army's attacks. Thinking thus, Siddhārtha Gautama entered into meditation, mobilizing the surging power of the parami energy to create a steadfastness and stability like the peak of Mount Sineru, awaiting the attack of the evil one. First, the evil one used a hurricane weapon, whose power was more ferocious than 1,000 fine horses, and charged towards the cushion. Although the hurricane was truly earth-shattering, it suddenly dissipated, not even shaking Siddhārtha Gautama's robe. The evil Mara was stunned and astonished. He was so angry that he used his weapon of floodwater. He created a great rain like a waterfall pouring down on the Asatha tree. Thanks to the power of parami, not a single drop of water fell on him. The Demon King's eyes widened until blood spurted out, and he used his weapon of hot coal hail, causing red-hot stones to fall endlessly onto the cushion. And then, oh my! The red-hot stones suddenly turned into bright red roses, gently forming into strings, chains. How beautiful it looked. With rage, the evil one transformed into a rain of weapons. They were weapons with serrated teeth, sharp hooks, sharp blades, and bristling hooks. Hundreds of thousands, thousands of them, raining down on Siddhārtha Gautama's head. Oh, how strange! All those strange weapons suddenly turned into metal flowers with strange shapes and colors. Furious like a thunderbolt, the evil demon, his eyes red as two basins of blood, used his weapon of fire rain. Then streams of red fire rained down on the sky, burning the entire space and then pouring down on the asatha tree. Oh, the fire rain turned into beautiful clusters of fire flowers. The evil one seemed to have gone berserk, using all the weapons of hot ash rain, burning sand rain, mud rain, and pitch-black space. But all in vain. Hot ash turned into fragrant powder. Burning sand turned into fragrant objects. Mud turned into fragrant water. Even though the space was pitch black, the asatha tree, the victorious cushion, and Siddhārtha Gautama were still as bright as the full moon. Having used all 9 types of fierce and brutal weapons but still failed miserably, still could not move Siddhārtha Gautama. The evil one was so angry, he showed off his power and scolded his subordinates. Why do you all stand there in silence? Why don't you all rush in at once to stab, slash, chop, hook, saw, and dismember him? Why don't you chase him away from that unruly meditation cushion? The evil demons screamed until their breath was hoarse and their throats were sore. But no demon dared to come near because the power of Siddhārtha Gautama had created an invisible belt, a solid parami wall that radiated an energy that made them cower in fear. Not knowing what else to do, the evil one rode the elephant Jiramakala, approached the asatha tree, and opened an argument. Siddhārtha Gautama, quickly leave that cushion because it is mine. Siddhārtha Gautama now temporarily left behind the 5 inner powers, faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom, and slowly said, Hey, evil one, in this world I have never seen anyone as foolish, crazy, and persistent as you, always following me. And now I have never seen anyone in the world who speaks words of coercion, seizes reason like you, who is as vain in name and food as you. This grass cushion was made possible by the 8 bundles of grass offered by the cowherd boy Sathya. Later it became a majestic and solemn cushion born of the merit of parami. For countless lifetimes, I have diligently cultivated meritorious deeds, especially giving alms to the highest, middle, and lowest levels. That is why I have this excellent cushion. And you, out of blind ambition, wanting to consolidate your position, power, and false reputation, have come here to compete with me. How arrogant and insolent! Go away. Disappear into the eternal darkness of your ignorance and arrogance. The evil demon Heavenly King silently stopped talking, angrily pulling out an extremely dangerous iron ring weapon. This was the 10th weapon, the ultimate weapon, with terrifying power that the evil demon Heavenly King had never used before. If this iron ring was thrown on the ground would be burned, and no grass would grow for 12 years. If this iron ring was thrown into the void, not a single drop of rain would fall for 12 years. If the iron ring was thrown at Mount Seneru, the mountain lord would be cut into 2. With the will to win, wanting to destroy Siddhārtha Gautama and the cushion, the evil one used his final move, throwing the iron ring at the tree. The iron ring emitted a thunderous sound that resounded through the space. Some of the Brahmas and Devas were concerned for the safety of Siddhārtha Gautama's life. Others, believing in his merit and the power of his parami, would not be harmed by any weapon, and that he would eventually attain Buddhahood. Indeed, that belief was correct. Siddhārtha Gautama meditated, mobilizing all his parami power to receive the infernal wrath of the evil one. Finally, the terrifying iron ring suddenly transformed into a floral handkerchief, fluttering and fluttering, as if to wipe the cushion. So the evil demon was completely defeated. However, he was not embarrassed at all. Still acting stubborn and headstrong, Siddhārtha Gautama, give me back that cushion. Due to spiritual inspiration and also due to unwavering faith, Siddhārtha Gautama suddenly said, I want you to lose with conviction. Listen to me. What proof do you have that this cushion is yours?" The devil was pleased and laughed heartily. "All these heavenly soldiers and generals will testify for me." The demons shouted, "Yes, we all testify that cushion belongs to our God." The evil demons saw that he had won and laughed loudly. Siddhārtha Gautama said that there are 30 parami, something or other, so that cushion is his possession of merit. So now, who is his witness? Siddhārtha Gautama remained calm and quiet because he believed in his parami power, thinking to himself, "Recently I have developed the confidence that for countless lifetimes I have fully practiced parami. I know that I already have the 5 great gifts and the 3 practices. The 5 great gifts are giving of wife, children, wealth, limbs, and life. The 3 practices are practices that bring benefits to the world, benefits to relatives, and benefits for the future attainment of Buddhahood." Thinking thus, Siddhārtha Gautama pointed to the ground and declared in truthful words, "I have 30 paramis, that is for sure. As for giving alms, I have also completed the 5 great alms. Although there are no sentient beings here to witness this for me, but there is the earth. Although the earth has no consciousness, it can still shake, vibrate 7 times to testify to the truth of my words." Strangely enough, as soon as Siddhārtha Gautama finished speaking, the earth immediately shook violently, shaking 7 times, emitting a rumbling sound like a storm rising from within the earth. The sea water suddenly writhed like a dragon king, churning, rumbling, and rising high, throwing mountains of waves into the air. The rain poured down heavily, water poured down, water overflowed forever. The evil demon sitting on the back of the elephant Jirimakala, as tall as a hill, also had to sway, tilt, then gradually sank deeper into the water, being swept away by the water. At this point, all the demon king's magical powers had become useless. He was confused, frightened, his hair stood on end. He threw away all his weapons, mobilized his remaining strength, urged the elephant Girimakala to jump out of the raging water, hurriedly flew back to the Thahoa Tu Tai heaven, not daring to look back. The demons were terrified, hastily threw away their weapons, masks, and ran away in chaos following their leader. 10,000 worlds rejoiced, cheering in unison, the sound like the sound of the ocean tide, reverberating throughout the heavens to praise and glorify the invincible parami power of Siddhārtha Gautama. The strange battle above was known only to Siddhārtha Gautama, in the human world and the world of gods and Brahmas. The asatha tree was still calm. The sky was already darkening towards evening. The cushion was still calm and motionless. For 2 hours, Siddhārtha Gautama meditated, maintained his close concentration, and reflected on his inner self, clearly seeing all the demons of afflictions that had been dormant for countless eons. He had identified and named each affliction, some coarse, some subtle. Just as the sun shines, the dew disappears wherever it shines, so too, when wisdom shines, the fetters and latent tendencies all show their faces. They can no longer wear masks, disguise themselves, or deceive anyone. The sun was about to set. Siddhārtha Gautama looked at the scenery for a while, and then returned to listening to the stream of his mind that was flowing peacefully, still, and clear. Siddhārtha knew that he would spend the whole night experimenting with the spiritual problem that had been solved. It was the night of the 14th of the 4th month of Vaisakha, India. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you have just listened to the video about the life of Buddha Shakyamuni, adapted from the work A Life, a Sun and Moon by Master Gioi Duc. This video series will be broadcast at 7 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the YouTube channel Buddhist Story. We sincerely thank you for watching. To not miss the next episodes, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. If you find the content useful, please share this video with your relatives and friends. All your comments are very valuable to us. Please leave comments below the video so we can discuss and share together. Thank you, and see you again in the next episodes of the video series, The Life of Buddha Shakyamuni.